The school board meeting will begin in 1 minute. Please take your seats. Again, the school board meeting will begin in 1 minute.
Okay, the September 8th, 2023 meeting of the Marion County School Board is called to order. Mirroring and modeling the way our students begin each day, I ask that we now pause for a brief moment of silence. Please join me. Thank you. I'll now take a brief moment to read our board motto. We are the Marion County School District leadership team. When we come together to work, we are efficient, effective, and productive. Our three most important characteristics are dedicated, transparent, and individually responsible. To work well together, we must demonstrate respect, confront reality, and be accountable. We will always put students first. We will leave a legacy of success. For the courtesy of those listening to the meeting, I request anyone in the audience to please silence their cell phones or put them on vibrate. Board Clerk, please call the roll.
Dr. Allison Campbell, District 1.
Here.
Mrs. Lori Conrad, District 2. Mr. Eric Cummings, District 3.
Here.
Mrs. Nancy Thrower, District 4.
Here.
Dr. Sarah James, District 5.
Here.
Dr. Diane Gullett, Superintendent.
Here.
Mr. Jeremy Powers, School Board Attorney.
Here.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. May we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good evening, Dr. Gullett. Would you like to make a recommendation on the agenda?
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. I certainly will. Thank you. I recommend approval of the agenda for the September 8th, 2023 special school board meeting with the materials in the board packet, those materials distributed to board members at the meeting, and the audio recording included as part of the official record of the meeting. Thank you.
So move.
Thank you. Motion on the superintendent's recommendation. I have a motion from Reverend Cummings. Second from Dr. James. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passes 4-0. Ms. Martinez, can you please provide the proof of publication this evening?
The notice for the September 8th, 2023 special school board meeting was published in the Ocala Gazette on August 25th, 2023. Proof of publication has been attached in board docs under proof of publication.
Thank you so much. The purpose of the meeting this evening is to hold public hearings on the final millages and budget for the 2023-2024 fiscal year. The budget process involves public hearings to be held in the following order: the rolled back rate computation and tentative budget amended to conform to final budget, the resolution determining revenues and millages levied, which is resolution 23-04, and resolution adopting final budget, resolution 23-05. Anyone wishing to address the board this evening regarding one of the public hearings will need to complete a special form in the lobby in any appropriate areas of concern. Attorney Powers, would you mind reading the rules governing this evening's meeting?
Thank you, yes. In compliance with Section 286.0114 of Florida statute, the school board has adopted uniform procedures for public speakers who may wish to speak at this evening's meeting, either regarding one of today's agenda items or a matter relating to the operations of the school district. These procedures will ensure the public has a reasonable opportunity to be heard on school board and school district matters. A written summary of these procedures is available from the table in the lobby. Public speaker forms are also located on the same table. The completed forms were due to the school's clerk no later than 5:10 p.m. This evening's speakers, will be called prior to the business portion of the school board's meeting in the order of receipt by the school board clerk. Before you begin speaking, please state your full name for the record and spell your last name. Each speaker will have 5 minutes of time. When the speaker has 1 minute remaining, the speaker will receive a visual notice to complete his or her comments. Speakers may not yield their time to other people. Speakers and meeting attendees are expected to conduct themselves in a respectful manner. Therefore, verbal attacks and profanity are strictly prohibited. Pursuant to the procedures for public comments, item 6, speakers are not to identify specific individuals other than themselves or their child unless the statement is provided 24 hours in advance. The board is here to listen to your comments only. You may be directed to an administrative staff member following the conclusion of your comments for further assistance to address any concerns. To ensure student privacy, only a parent or guardian may use the student's first or last name. Identifying references to other students or their families are also strictly prohibited. A public speaker's speech does not reflect the endorsement, sponsorship, position, or expression of the school district. Thank you for your attention to the board's requirements. Chair, that concludes my explanatory remarks.
Thank you, Attorney Powers. Before proceeding with the fiscal year 2023-2024 budget hearings, we do need to finalize the fiscal year 2022-2023 budget. May I have a motion to approve the final budget resolution number 10 for the fiscal year 2022-2023?
So moved.
Motion by Reverend Cummings.
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Thrower. Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passes 4-0. May I have a motion to approve the monthly financial report for year ending June 2023?
Motion to approve the monthly financial report.
Motion by Vice Chair Thrower.
Second.
Second by Dr. James. Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passes 4-0. Chair now recognizes Superintendent Gullett again to begin the budget hearing process.
Thank you. The total millage to be levied is greater than the rolled back rate by 11.4%. The required local effort millage rate is greater than the rolled back rate by 10.60%. Each school board participating in the state allocation of funds for the current operation of schools must levy the millage set for its required local effort from property taxes. As a result of work sessions held by the board since the adoption of the tentative budget of $910,395,414 on August 1st, 2023, the following changes have been made and have been incorporated into the proposed final budget. They are as follows. The major changes include a net decrease in revenue due to general fund operating, including transfer from capital projects fund for portable leases and property insurance state-funded discretionary supplement, in adult education for workforce development revenue, in special revenue, federal, state, and local grants, new and carryover grants, and school internal accounts, for net increases and decreases in expenditures due to the following: in general fund operating, net change in staffing plan, portable classroom lease, ramps and sidewalks, diesel fuel cost, carryover for categoricals, district supplemental funds for athletics, family empowerment scholarships, charter schools full-time equivalent adjustments known as FTE, also for general fund adult education inclusive of part-time salaries and benefits, For general fund referendum, net change in the staffing plan. For capital projects, remodeling and renovation projects, new central warehouse, and transfer to general fund for portable lease and property insurance. For special revenue, federal, state, and local grants, inclusive of new and carryover grants, and school internal accounts. The changes in the fund balance are due to actual revenue and expenditures recorded in July for the prior fiscal year. The following attachments have been added to the rolled back computation. The first one being the memo, changes from tentative to final budget. The second, certification and compliance. The third, public hearing certification. The fourth, fiscal year 2023-2024 final budget publication to be published on Marion County Public website on September 11th, 2023. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gullett. May I have a motion on the superintendent's recommendation that the board amend the adopted tentative budget to conform to the proposed final budget for fiscal year 2023-2024?
Motion to amend and conform.
Motion by Vice Chair Thrower. Second by Reverend Cummings. This is a public hearing. Does anyone wish to address the board concerning the rolled back rate and/or the amended tentative budget?
Does anybody want this form?
Yes, we'll make sure Ms. Debick right there can collect it from you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Steve Herring, 15565 Southeast 36th Avenue, Summerfield, Florida. I just basically have two questions, and I don't need the answers now because I know you're not going to have them. I'd like to know what the administrative costs are between 2009 and today, and I'd also like to know what the budget was in 2009 compared to today. That's the questions I have. So if somebody can get that back to me, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Herring. Dr. Gullett, would you like to mention anything?
Mr.
Yes, I
Herring,
would.
did you include your contact information there on the form?
Sure.
Mr.
Will
Herring,
do too.
did you include your contact information so that we can get back to you with that records request? Thank you.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you, Madam.
Terrific. Thank you. And perhaps, Ms. Bostonellis, as we're preparing that public record, we might want to also include the number of students different from 2009 to today. That might also be a helpful number to include there.
As well as staff.
As well as staff, yes. Thank you. Hi, good evening.
Good evening. My name is Miriana Simonza, 18 Hemlock Circle, Silver Spring Shores, Ocala.
Can't hear you.
Can you speak just a little closer to the microphone?
Closer? Okay.
Thank you.
Can you hear that? No, okay. So I just like
What's your
to-
name, ma'am? I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you.
Miriana
Liliana.
Okay.
Simonza. I think you'll have to have it in written. It's going to be hard.
Thank
And it's
you.
18 Hemlock Circle, Ocala. So I just like to understand the proposed budget and then what is supposed to be. It seems there is like 13% increase, and you can correct me if it's not. So is that what is necessary for the budget to pass? And I see that there were some changes last year already, and we were not here last year. We are newcomers, so we'd like to really understand if you are going back to, for example, millage for the state school, for example, if it's 2.88, now it's going to 3.19. Does it have all the materials? Does it explain why we have to go 13%? And for homeowners that have exemptions, it seems. Do you agree it's a big increase or not? So that's my question. Can you address that? All of those increases by boards? They're like 4 items.
So Dr. Gullett certainly can speak to it. I will also mention, though, that this school board and every school board across the state is required to levy the millage that the legislature tells us we have to in order to receive education funds at all from the state. And so that amount levied is actually required by state law and how we fund education in the state of Florida. That's going to be my response, but Dr. Gullett may have a different one.
Yes, Madam Chair, that you're correct. Ms. Boston-Ellis is there with any additional background information that may be helpful. I heard you indicate that you're new, and so maybe some historical changes that have occurred, but you were correct, Madam Chair. We're required to do that, and that's part of what we're sharing here tonight. But Ms. Boston-Ellis is our Chief Financial Officer, who is available and seated near you if you have additional specific items.
Yeah, so I suspect, and you can correct me if it's wrong, that you have these large increases for the past year or maybe two. And now we are going back to that, the increases that happened already for 2022. Because why would otherwise, let's say 3.25, you say it's actually supposed to be 288 and now it's going to 319. Right. So it did happen before, right?
Trying to answer. I think Ms. Boston-Ellis wants to.
Yes, Ms. Boston-Ellis.
And that way the whole board
Can
can
you help
hear
us, please?
the specifics. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I think what she is speaking about is the rollback rate, because that is a calculation that has to occur. The required local millage is set by our legislators. And so there's also a calculation that we have to do. It's called truth in millage calculation. And we have to say, to get the same money we got last year, this is what the rate should be. And that's what the rollback rate is. But we are required to levy a certain amount, a millage, as Dr. Campbell stated, that we have to levy that millage in order to receive state funds. But you are correct. The millages change from year to year. They are set by the legislators, but a part of the calculation we have to do is to say that if we got the same money last year as this year, this is what the millage would be. And that is just information for the taxpayers. And in terms of school dollars, that does not impact us. We have to levy what the legislators say.
Okay, so
But I'd be willing to sit down with you afterwards, and we can go through every calculation, if you don't mind.
Right. And so it is true that the increase is like 13%.
I don't know if it's exactly 13. It depends on the value of your property.
11% of, no, it doesn't matter. From county and public schools is 11%. Water management is the same, and then the non-ad valorem is like 28%.
Right.
And so it's altogether
Right,
13.
but the school district is this piece, and that's, I believe, what you're asking for.
Yeah, that's the most obvious with numbers also. Okay, thank you. I'll proceed later.
Thank you so much. For folks who haven't lived in Florida for a very long time, those who are new to Marion County and just the state of Florida in general, it can be a bit confusing because the state of Florida does fund education differently than other states do. And so we understand the concerns and the questions, but we hopefully will have the answers for you that can bring that resolution to your mind. Thank you. Were there any other comments on this particular item? If no other public comment, we have a motion and a second on the table. Is there any discussion from the board?
Call the vote.
Calling the vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passes 4-0. Dr. Gullett, on item 8.3, please.
I think we need 8.2.
I think 8.2 is what we just did. Didn't we?
Yes, I did. Oh, I think we're on 8.2. I didn't read 8.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Dr. Gullett, we're at 8.2.
Okay,
Thank you.
very good, thank you. School Board of Marion County, Florida proposes a total millage rate of 6.439, which is greater than the rolled back rate of 5.7626 mils by 11.74%. I recommend the board adopt Resolution 23-04, determining revenue and millages to be levied for fiscal year 2023-2024. Thank you.
May I have a motion on the superintendent's recommendation that the board adopt Resolution 23-04, determining revenues and millages levied for fiscal year 2023-2024?
So move.
Motion by Reverend Cummings.
Second.
Second by Dr. James. This is a public hearing. Does anyone wish to address the board concerning the millages? Seeing and hearing none, is there any discussion among the board? Seeing and hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passes 4-0. Dr. Gullett, item 8.3.
Thank you. I recommend the board adopt Resolution 23-05, affirming the final budget for fiscal year 2023-2024 in the amount of $959,016,935. Thank you.
So move.
Motion by Reverend Cummings on the superintendent's recommendation that the board adopt Resolution 2305, affirming the final budget for fiscal year 2023-2024 in the amount of $959,016,935. Motion by Reverend Cummings.
Second.
Second by Dr. James. This is a public hearing. Does anyone wish to address the board concerning the final budget? Anyone in the audience wish to address the board on the final budget?
Call the vote.
Hearing none, is there any discussion among the board? We have a call for vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passes 4-0. Our final discussion item this evening, may I have a motion to acknowledge receipt and approve the annual financial report for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Dr. James.
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Thrower. Is there any discussion among the board? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passes 4-0. We will now move into board committee reports. Ms. Martinez, anything from the board clerk's office?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Attorney Powers, anything from legal? Thank you. Dr. Gullett?
Just very briefly, I want to thank Ms. Boston Ellis and her entire team again for completion of this. I know there's a lot of work. I wish her a happy birthday. I know she's speaking to one of our speakers, but today is her birthday. She wouldn't want me to share that, but I'm going to share it anyway. Happy birthday, Ms. Boston Ellis.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. We should sing to you. I'm going to sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Teresa. Happy birthday to you. Okay.
Many more.
Yes.
And many more.
Many more. Our wonderful Chief Financial Officer. Happy birthday.
I'll hear about that later, but anyway, I needed to do it. So, and just a great afternoon celebrating our groundbreaking at our Marion Technical College and what's great for our workforce and our community and having great partnerships, what it'll do. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gullett. Dr. James.
Again, thank you to Ms. Boston Ellis and the entire department for all of your diligent work. I wanted to mention, Ms. Martinez brought it to my attention to get clarification on whether the facilities department is going to be seeking a board meeting ahead of our work sessions in October, November, and December. So I've reached out to Ms. Dobbins, and she should be able to confirm that by Monday, and I'll communicate with Ms. Martinez's office regarding that as to whether it will be a necessity with the contracts for that committee that I sit on. But that's it.
Thank you so much. Reverend Cummings.
We did talk about the master board training. Did we get a date? Did we share that with Ms. Martinez Lopez? Are we on?
We're not on.
We are not on for the date that we had chosen because FSBA was not available. And
Okay.
so where it is right now, they are getting us some dates that they are available, and then we will see how that works in our schedule. So unfortunately, they were not available on the one day that worked for all of us amazingly. So,
Okay.
thank you.
No other comments?
Thank you.
Oh, I do. I take that back.
Okay.
Again, congratulations to our budgeting team. I thank Ms. Boston Ellis and the whole team. We have I'm going to go on a limb and say we have the best in the country. Our CFO and the people that work with her, and they do a tremendous job every year. So, and they're that supporting cast. They're the ones that's holding the district up that we don't see. So, kudos to you guys, and thank you again for another excellent budget report. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Cummings. Vice Chair Thrower.
Thank you, and to echo what Board Member Cummings just said, that's not only our opinion that you're fabulous, but it's also backed up by over 20 years, I think, of facts of being an award-winning financial services department. So that gives me much reassurance because our budgets continue to grow, our mandates continue to grow, school safety needs continue to grow, and our commitment to making sure that each and every child succeeds, and whether they go into the military, whether they go right into the workforce, onto college, will never get reduced. So I just want to share my appreciation to everyone that is involved in this process and for their vision and commitment to do the best for every dollar and make sure that kids benefit from that. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Thrower. And to wrap up comments this evening, first of all, I'll just say the groundbreaking at Marion Technical College was a wonderful opportunity, not only for us to share appreciation with our legislators, but also just to break ground on a building. And I think it's been at least 12 years or more, probably way more than that, since Marion County Public Schools has done that. And so that's a really exciting time, and knowing that the legislature has provided the resources for us in an allocation. Those are not direct dollars coming out of our budget. That's an allocation coming from the state that is a tremendous asset for us and will be a huge benefit to our community. I also had the opportunity this morning to meet with my Take Stock in Children mentee for the first time. So that was a great opportunity, and looking forward to just learning and growing with my mentee for the next 4 years. I said, we're going to get to know each other really well. Dr. Cullett knows that very well. So that was a wonderful opportunity. And then just to wrap up, because this is all about budget really today, it is, as someone who hasn't grown up in Florida and someone who's relatively new to the board, it was quite of an education for me on how fiscal, financial, how school finance is actually, how it actually occurs. And so even though property values are increasing, the legislature still ensures that the balance of what is being paid is not, just because property values have gone up, let's say 30 to 40%, doesn't mean that our budget automatically goes up 30 to 40%. That's part of what this is all about. And I know it's more complicated than the way I'm explaining it, but they ensure that it is at a rate that is not necessarily equal to what the property values might be, but also they require all school districts to participate, and they require the local required effort, and that's what these hearings were this evening. For the purpose of this budget, that probably is the largest budget in Marion County Public Schools history at more than $950 million, understanding that at least $100+ million of that will not be present in our budget next year. I'm not going to use a real number, but I'm going to say more than $100 million of that is not going to be a part of our budget next year, because this is the last year of the COVID relief dollars from the federal government. And so this is the largest budget ever in Marion County Public Schools history, but it is in part due to influx of cash from the COVID relief dollars. And there are other changes that have significantly changed since, as our speaker was talking about, in 2009. Another $75+ million is because we now are self-funding our health insurance. And so we keep all of that balance on our books, more than $75 million. I'm using round numbers, and Ms. Bostonellis is shaking her head because I'm not going to get into the actual dollar amounts. But as I'm out in the community trying to educate folks on these numbers and why they have grown, Our population of students has grown at least 5,000, if not more. And every one of those students comes with dollars that the state requires us, and gives us and so forth. So there are a lot of changes that had happened in Marion County Public Schools since 2009, since that was the number that our public speaker gave this evening. And I'm looking forward to having others in the community educated on that as well. And we'll just continue to talk about that and talk about our story, and that's something we haven't done well enough. I know Reverend Cummings said that just the other day. We haven't shared our story as much as is really needing to be shared. So I'm just grateful again as we wrap up to the team from finance, led by Miss Boston Ellis, and all the rest of you who are amazing, who are here and who aren't here, behind the scenes and even in front of us. We're just so grateful. I'm so grateful for the hard work that happens in this district every day.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Reverend Cummings?
Thank you for saying that. That was an excellent explanation of this budget, but also one more thing that you didn't say, that we also, of this $959 million budget, there is a lot of money that is passed through our budget that does not stay in our schools. So that's changed since 2009 as well.
Yes.
So let's be completely transparent,
Right.
but you had a great explanation. And thank you.
Well, thank you for that, Reverend Cummings, because that actually is a point that I did leave out, that since 2009, we do have a portion of our budget that is shared with charter schools, that's shared in other ways, and that's a couple of different pots of money that we do share with them in different ways. So that is also changed. Additionally, there are mandates that have been put on us. Significant safety mandates, mental health and wellness mandates. There's lots of things that we have gotten a lot better at, a lot of things, but it also costs money, and then the legislature ensures that there's funding for that. So for the most part, we'll leave it there. Okay, I'm going to end my diatribe there. So with there being no further business, may I have a motion to adjourn our meeting this evening? Thank you, Reverend Cummings. Motion by Reverend Cummings.
Second.
Second by Dr. James. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passes 4-0. Our meeting is adjourned at 5:31 p.m. Thank you.